Hello and welcome to the vlog. Before I leave Braunston, there are a couple of things I need to do. There are some chandleries here and I need to pick up some bits for the boat. For a start, I want a new portside centre line. The existing one is looking a bit frayed in several places, and I have this vision of me one day trying to pull the boat into the side and then the rope snapping and the boat just merrily drifting off down the canal, which would be rather annoying. There are some other ropes I want to get as well. But more importantly than that, because I'm going to be going up the River Soar, I need an anchor. And although my boat already has an anchor left by the previous owners, it is the wrong type. Apparently, mine looks like a grappling iron type, and what I in fact need is a more flatter, diamond-shaped anchor that will dig into the river mud. The whole idea is not that you moor on the river using the anchor, you moor up on the side as normal, but if the engine should happen to conk out at any point, and you find the boat is now drifting helplessly downstream, potentially towards a weir, you throw the anchor overboard and use it as an emergency brake. So I need a bigger, heavier, flatter anchor that is suitable for rivers, and I also need a long piece of rope to go on it. Again, the anchor I've been left with by the previous owners has some rope on it, but it's not long enough according to all the reading I'm doing. So today is a bit of a shopping expedition to get myself sorted with safety gear for going on rivers. Here's where I went. It's Wharf House Chandlery at the far end of Braunston. They fit out boats here as well as selling bits for them. This is the hall. You can see I've a new centre line on top there, and underneath that is some extra anchor chain. You may be thinking, hang on a minute, didn't you go out to buy an anchor? Where's that? Well, yes I did, and yes I have bought one, but anchors weigh a lot. And I am currently moored about a mile away from the chandlery, so I didn't fancy lugging it all the way down the towpath. So what I've done is I've left it at the chandlery, it's got my name on it, and when I set off again, I'll just briefly pop in and pick it up because it's en route. The chandlery is at the bottom of Braunston Bottom Lock, so I'll just stop there, grab the anchor and then carry on. I wasn't planning setting off till tomorrow, but we've got a window of sunshine this morning, so I'm going to give it a go. 6 Braunston locks and the Braunston Tunnel to tackle. First of all, the nuisance of the bridges on the corners. Braunston has a couple of these where the canal bends sharply, but you can't see what's beyond, so you have no idea if you'll crash into an oncoming boat until it's almost too late. Slow and watchful is my only solution. That done, a brief pull-in to the side at one of Braunston's many water points. It's only a week since I set off, and there's plenty still in the tank, but might as well do it when you get the chance. Probably more important was emptying the toilet tank. The Elsan point is at the same spot. And 20 yards round the corner is a mooring for another chandlery, where I popped in to get some coal, as the nights are still chilly. Then onwards, bidding farewell to Braunston's famous double bridge, where the canal splits off for Birmingham or Oxford. That's Braunston Marina, which I discovered during this stay has a boater's laundry facility. Useful if pricey on the drying. It's in that building there. On past the Stop House, where I fell in last year, and through the famous Butcher's Bridge where, look, more signs of spring on the towpath. Coming up to the bottom lock, which is through that bridge, and Wharf House is on the left, so I need to nip in while I do the lock and pick up my anchor. Here it is, safely stowed for the moment in the engine room. That's a 20-kilogram Danforth type, whatever that means. Out of Lock 1, shared with another boat, and not just any boat, but one being taken on behalf of its owner by professional boat movers. They were incredibly helpful, essentially doing all the lock work for me. And here's their lovely dog, Bosun. It briefly got busy at the locks, 2 down, 2 up. I ended up pairing with another boat after Lock 3, as the boat movers helped a novice hire boater instead, which is entirely fair of them. So here's the whole of Braunston locks in double quick time. Actually, More like 30 times time. This took about an hour and a half in reality. Okay, the Braunston locks are done, and I'm now chugging gently towards the evil that is Braunston Tunnel. We shall see if my new tunnel light does its job correctly. Wish me luck. There it is, and you can just see another boat's headlight coming through. They gave me that warning toot, so I held back to let them out before plunging in. Well, the new tunnel light is doing a pretty good job. I'm probably a quarter of the way in. All's well so far. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes if you put your foot down and don't meet anyone else coming the other way. Made it! All is well and happy. I tell you, there is nothing quite like the relief of coming out into sunlight after a long, dark, dank tunnel. And so, with relief in my heart and sunlight in my eyes, I pressed on towards Norton Junction, where I'd go left onto the Leicester line. Annoyingly, the mooring spots approaching the junction were taped off with this orange netting last year. I think it's because the canal side is decaying, but the netting's still there a year on, and it doesn't look as though anything's been done to fix the bank. I know the CRT have lots of stuff to do, but they've got a maintenance yard right here. Surely they can fix their own back garden. Here's the turn left, which again I've speeded up, else we'd be here all day. Pleased to say I did it in one smooth move, rather good if I say so myself. On the right, a tiny sign says where you are. Now I wanted a mooring spot, quite busy here obviously. Love this tiny little boat, but it does look alarmingly low in the water now I come to think of it. Luck was on my side. There's a perfect hole between two boats in which I shall park myself. Job done. Lovely view to the front and a lovely view back. Time for a cup of tea and a snooze. Good morning. I spent all day yesterday here at Norton Junction, but now the time has come to move on to Crick. Just up from the junction is Welton Marina. An unusual narrowboat moored outside, sort of Dutch barge-inspired styling I suppose, but narrow, quite imperious. Was just stopped by a viewer who was moored on the bank, who's having a problem with his fridge, a bit like the one that I had over a year ago I think, when my charger packed up and the fridge was saying low voltage and his fridge is blinking with the red light, and he wanted to know if I could help him. Well, I'd do my best, but I have to tell you now, I know pretty much nothing really about boat electronics and diagnosing them. So if you do stop me and you think, oh, I've got the same problem that bloke had, I probably can't help you. I'm really sorry. I'll offer what little suggestions I can. I feel quite bad now because I just threw out random ideas to this chap, like what's your batteries like and what's your charger like and stuff. But really, I'm just doing pub talk about things that might be wrong. I'm really not able to help, which is a shame. Isn't this pretty? It would be a lovely spot to moor if only the weeds and reeds hadn't been allowed to sprout up so much on the towpath side. There's even metal armco under all that to chain the boat to, but just try getting to it. Onwards, northwards, back on my old stomping ground towards Yelvertoft, and the sky is teasing me with a bit of blue in one direction and nasty black rain clouds hiding the sun in the other. Here's the Watford lock flight, and lucky timing, this boat was about to go up, so I was able to go up behind him instead of having to wait for any boats coming down. Many thanks to the lock keepers, all volunteers who help out here, as every time so far they did pretty much all the hard work with the gates and paddles, while I just stayed on the boat and kept it steady. Squint and you can just see that other boat in the lock but one ahead of me. And, like with Braunston, here's the whole sequence in Superman speed. Done, and another unusual boat at the top waiting to go down. So I've done Watford Lock, so the next thing is the Crick tunnel, but just before I go into that I want to check something. I think I may have something caught round the prop, but also I've noted there's a tiny bit of water coming in through the weed hatch, and that's very bad. It's not a lot, but you can see a few spots around the base plate, and these can only be getting in from weed hatch spillage. Too much of that and you can sink the boat. So I took the hatch out to have a better look. It's a heavy old metal thing, and on the underside of the top plate you can just see the sealing tape, which has clearly been flattened, squashed over time. Unfortunately, the top of the hatch hole has gone a bit rusty because of the water being trapped in the tape, so it's not even a flat, smooth surface to make a good seal. This will all need a bit of treatment, but now is not the time. Well, my suspicions about something around the prop were unfounded, but that leak around the weed hatch definitely needs seeing to. I'm not going to do it right now. I'm going to carry on through Crick Tunnel and moor up at Crick, which is where I was going to end up this evening. I have got some more sealing tape, so I will put that on this afternoon. Tunnel time again. At least this one at Crick is straight, unlike Braunston. Since last year, I've found the solution to my tunnel terrors though, and that's to have a small floodlight at the back with me, facing forwards. Once you can see the side of the tunnel with respect to the sides of the boat, it's a lot easier to get a move on. People always say, put your cabin lights on, but I found that made no difference whatsoever. A floodlight is your friend. For those people who've asked what happens if you meet another boat coming through and say, surely you can't both fit, well, in many tunnels you can, and this is what happens. You go slowly and squeeze over to the right, and with inches to spare, quite literally, you go past each other. It can be a bit tense, but if you're careful, it's fine. As you can see, the tunnel was a bit damp as always, but half a mile later, here's Crick and time to stop for the night. That's it for this one. Cheerio.